What if nothing matters? Not your fervent pursuit of success, not the carefully constructed edifice of your dreams, not even the intricate, fragile thing that is you. That's the whisper of nihilism, a philosophy, or perhaps a feeling that can feel like standing on the edge of an abyss. But is it purely despair, a surrender to the void? Or is there, paradoxically, a strange, unsettling kind of freedom to be found in that emptiness? Tonight, we drift inward. We step cautiously into the mind of doubt, into the heart of the question, what happens when the ground beneath us gives way? To understand modern nihilism, we have to acknowledge its roots. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche famously declared the death of God. This wasn't necessarily an atheistic cheer, but an observation. The traditional sources of meaning, morality, and cosmic order were, in his view, eroding. Science, secularism, the sheer, overwhelming complexity of the modern world, they were chipping away at the foundations. For Nietzsche, the death of God meant we were left with a profound absence. No divine plan, no inherent moral law etched into the universe. A void where purpose used to reside. Fast forward to today. Our modern landscape seems fertile ground for nihilistic sentiment. We're bombarded with information, global crises, endless comparisons on social media leading to burnout, and a sense of insignificance. We face moral fatigue, overwhelmed by the sheer scale of suffering and injustice, questioning the efficacy of our actions. Existential overexposure, the constant digital mirror reflecting back our own perceived inadequacies and the fleeting nature of everything. It's easy, in this environment, to feel the pull of the void. To wonder if any of it, the striving, the caring, the hoping, truly matters in the grand, indifferent scheme of things. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." A powerful idea, suggesting that purpose is our anchor. But what happens, in the face of modern life's relentless tide, when that why feels increasingly elusive, or perhaps non-existent? What does it truly feel like to live with the genuine conviction that nothing matters? It can manifest in many ways. For some, it's a profound, heavy apathy, a listlessness that saps motivation, making even the simplest actions feel pointless. Why strive for success if success, and you, will eventually fade into dust? Why build relationships if connection is just a temporary flicker in an eternal darkness? This can be the danger of nihilism, the descent into inaction, a paralysis born of the belief that effort is futile. If the universe is indifferent, why bother? Yet, for others, there can be a strange comfort in detachment. If nothing matters, then the pressures, the expectations, the endless anxieties of a meaning-obsessed world, they lose their grip. The fear of failure diminishes when the concept of failure itself seems arbitrary against an infinite backdrop. There's a quiet liberation in letting go. And here lies the central, beautiful irony. By rejecting inherent, external meaning, you are, almost inadvertently, forced into a position where you begin to create your own. If the universe doesn't provide a script, then you become the reluctant playwright. If there's no grand purpose preordained, then the small, personal purposes you choose, a passion, a connection, a simple act of kindness, take on a stark, radical significance precisely because they are chosen, not given. In the absence of everything, anything you create feels like everything. History is filled with creators, artists, philosophers, thinkers, who stared into the face of the void and instead of being consumed, found fuel. Nihilism, in this light, isn't necessarily a dead end, but a brutal, demanding muse. If the traditional narratives are broken, if the old gods are silent, then the artist is freed from the obligation to follow the established path. The lack of inherent meaning becomes a blank canvas, not a tombstone. The absurdity of existence, rather than leading to despair, can become a source of dark humor, radical freedom, and a fierce, defiant creativity. They embraced the void not as a place of doom, but as a space of infinite possibility. If there are no rules etched into the cosmos, then you are free to invent your own. Free to explore the darkest corners of the human experience, free to question everything, free to build new structures of meaning, however temporary or personal they might be. It's the defiant assertion in the face of cosmic indifference. Maybe nothing matters, but I still get to choose what I do next. I still get to create. I still get to feel. I still get to be. The act of creation itself becomes a powerful, personal rebellion against the perceived meaninglessness. It's building your own temporary, beautiful castles in the sand, knowing the tide will come, but building them nonetheless. Because the act of building matters to you, so where does this leave us? Standing in the vast, quiet expanse after the echoes of doubt have faded slightly. If everything, from the smallest organism to the grandest galaxy, is ultimately ephemeral, if everything ends, then paradoxically, perhaps that makes every single second we have excruciatingly rare. Precious. Maybe the burden of finding a singular, universal meaning was always the wrong pursuit. Maybe it's not about unearthing some pre-existing cosmic truth. Maybe it's simply about the art of creation itself, the art of creating moments. Moments of connection, moments of beauty, moments of understanding, however fleeting. Creating experiences worth holding onto, worth remembering, even when the backdrop is one of uncertainty or darkness. The meaning, if there is any, isn't in the destination, but in the deliberate, conscious act of living, feeling, and creating in the here and now. Inside the mind of doubt, we found not just emptiness, but a strange, challenging freedom. A call not to despair, but to build. To create our own light, our own warmth, our own fleeting, precious meaning in the dark. Consider subscribing to Where Minds Drift. Join our quiet corner of the internet where we delve into the poetic, the philosophical, and the stories that shape us. Your presence here, lending your time and reflection to these thoughts, means more than I can express. Thank you for drifting with me today. If this episode sparked a thought, a feeling, or perhaps even more questions, share them in the comments below. Let's navigate these currents together. You can find more episodes exploring similar themes right here. Until our minds drift together again.